Hi, everyone. Welcome to our January newsletter. This month, we're going to be talking to a few of the pros that we took over to Spain last month, or a couple of months ago, when we did a fam trip over to the south of Spain in the Costa del Sol region. We got to play some incredible golf courses like Valderrama, the host of the 1997 Ryder Cup, and Finca Cortison, which will be hosting the 2023 Solheim Cup. So, without further ado, we're going to get into viewing some of these interviews with three of the pros that we brought along with us. We have Justin O'Leary from Cedar Brae Golf and Country Club. We have Donovan Fraser, the new director of golf at the Pulpit Club, and Matt Johnson from Royal Mayfair in Edmonton. We'll be asking them questions about the golf and the hotels and all of the off-course activities that we got to enjoy and that groups could enjoy when they go to visit this incredible region in Spain. So, without further ado, enjoy the interviews.
So we had an awesome adventure in Spain a couple months ago. You were able to join us, which was great, and we got to see some pretty cool spots. So we're going to go over sort of what we saw on the trip and your experiences, and try to get people to understand how you saw it from your perspective and how it relates to, say, a trip that you might do with your members moving forward. So I believe it was your first time going over to Spain. I think it was everybody's first time on the trip. So what were you expecting, and what did you know about golf going in, and what were you expecting before going over?
In all honesty, I don't think I really knew a lot about Spanish golf. I guess I would have thought of Valderrama, and I would have thought of Seve, and Sergio probably was the limit to my Spanish golf knowledge.
From a Spanish golf perspective, you hear of Valderrama and some of the other golf courses. I had the pleasure of working with Jerry Anderson at Credit Valley for a number of years, and he played in the European Tour. And he'd always talk about Seve and talk about Spanish golf and, his experiences playing in Europe. So I was definitely intrigued and excited about the opportunity to play, obviously, some of the best golf courses in Spain.
I didn't know a ton about the exact destination. I always wanted, Spain was always on a bucket list to go. Obviously knew about Valderrama and that area. My neighbors are from Spain, so they kind of brought me up to speed with Marbella and the Malaga region. So didn't have a ton of insight other than where it was geographically, and just was looking forward to experiencing Spain's culture.
We stayed in 3 different hotels and moved around a little bit because we were being hosted by Spanish tourism, and they obviously wanted us to see different spots. So, and we toured a few other hotels. So give us your impression on the hotels that we saw.
Yeah, so the first one was the Westin La Quinta Resort, and I thought the rooms were the best of the different hotels that we stayed at. Gorgeous views, having breakfast out on the patio.
The first one we stayed at was with the Westin, and I thought a very spacious hotel, very comfortable hotel, beautiful views. The food was excellent. The rooms were ginormous, actually, and it's a really comfortable spot to make your landing spot on the trip.
Location was great too. We're a short bus ride away from going to different golf courses, and then some nightlife in the area too.
The second hotel was super, just an awesome atmosphere. And as soon as you walked in, you felt it was something pretty, it felt old school, but it's not an old hotel, is it? It felt like you're going back to the 100 years ago, but it was still a new hotel. Loved the overall lobby area.
And the second hotel, which was remind me of the name again?
Via Padierna.
Yeah, beautiful spot, gorgeous spot. And that's the spot you'd want to probably be with your significant other. Very romantic, great lobby bar. The views, again, the golf course there looked beautiful. The spa was outstanding, and you can see, and the breakfast, everything was just top drawer there.
I thought that was a luxurious and historic, stunning views from the back patio. When we had the breakfast spread was world class, and the spa was really, really nice, and they had nice fitness facilities there.
The lobby bar was very good, and it had 2 kind of distinct areas. It had that area with the fireplace, the smaller area, and then it had that bigger area off that room. And food was spectacular. I didn't mention that the Westin, the food was really good. At the second place, the food was through the roof. That dinner that we had that night,
location was spectacular. You know, you open up your patio and you're looking over the ocean, and you're right in the heart of the food scene, nightlife, all those great things.
The third hotel was definitely my favorite for sure. It just personally what I was looking for. I remember we walked in, Ryan and I walked into a room, and you open the patio doors and boom, you're looking at the Mediterranean. Yeah, you can see Africa, excuse me, in the distance. You've got Gibraltar over to the right, and it was just spectacular. It was beautiful. We slept with the ocean, with the doors, double doors open. You could hear the sea coming in. And keeping with my lobby bar theme, that was probably the best lobby bar of the bunch. We sat at that big table one afternoon, and we had a drink or two and shared a lot of laughs.
So great description of the hotels, and obviously moving on to the golf. A lot of people know of Valderrama, hosted the '97 Ryder Cup. People may have heard of Finca Courtesan is hosting the Solheim Cup next year. But tell us what you knew about the courses going in, and what your impressions were coming out.
No, that place was cool. I didn't know what to expect going into Spain. I didn't know if there were going to be parkland golf courses, if there were going to be links golf courses. I didn't know what to expect. I found that golf course was really good. It was windy. I remember the front nine being very playable, and I wouldn't say forgiving, but a little easier. But the golf course got really good, really fast in the back nine, right from the 10th hole, that par 4 down the hill, then back up with that crazy house on the right-hand side with a crazy doctor that was. But I can remember, I always judge a golf course by if I can remember it, and I can specifically remember every hole in that back nine. I really, really enjoyed the back nine. I think it's because the wind was blowing, helping my ball flight, but it was awesome.
And it was a great golf course. The facilities were splendid. Really enjoyed that golf course. It was kind of our introduction to Spanish golf, and the conditions were great. Very playable golf course, and enjoyed that immensely.
Yeah, La Reserva was probably one of my favorites on the trip. Just really enjoyed the elevation changes, and the amenities. I just thought it was world class, and again, the views from the tee boxes and the playability of it was fairly generous, and just a fun place to play golf with a group of friends.
First hole, you pulled it left. We played together, and you pulled it left into the trees. Remember that dog leg left down the hill?
Oh,
you hit an incredible shot under the back of the green.
Yes, I had the olives all over my golf ball. Again, that place was super cool. That was the day. It was actually, speaking of wind, that was the day where you looked over at me and said, "Is this the windiest day you've ever played on?" But it was super fun again. I mean, it was cool that you had to hit a bunch of different shots. And one thing I didn't expect with Spain was the elevation changes. There was a lot of like hitting way up to way down, and then down the back up, mixed with some good solid holes. And a couple things I remember. One, I remember the ham and cheese croissant we had, which was amazing. Yeah, Valderrama, and I remember sending a tweet out or an Instagram picture when I was over there. A lot of times you go to these properties that are so built up, and then you get there and you're a little disappointed. Valderrama did not disappoint at all. I actually loved the property. It probably helped that I played half decent, but I just loved that you had to hit every shot in the bag, high, low, left, right, place it here to hit it there. Golf course was in immaculate condition. It was, I would rank it. I've been thinking about it since I left. I mean, I would rank it almost in my top 5 I've ever played. It was awesome.
And then into Valderrama, it was a real special golf experience. Challenging conditions, like the wind was up and the greens were fast, and I putted it off the 17th green into the water. So I did the same thing as Tiger. It was just like, you wish you could have played better, but it was like just a stunning experience. The turf conditions were second to none. Like, it was as good as any facility I've ever played, and probably my top 2 or 3 golf experiences that I've ever had.
Yeah, there's Valderrama bucket list golf course, and it lived up to its expectations. Just like anywhere else you'd play at Pebble Beach or whatnot. Really cool to kind of go back in time and imagine shots played. Challenging golf course. which is funny because it doesn't feel challenging when you're on the tee box. You know, it looks pretty straight ahead, but the trees there you have to golf your ball a little bit around the trees and small green complexes, and which makes it super fun because you feel like you always have a shot. It better be one of your better shots you've ever played.
And then people always ask me, what is 17 like at Valderrama? And I tell them it's probably the craziest hole I've ever played. We had 12 of us, and a gross par won the skin there. I think we'd won 5. My group made 4 sevens, and it was crazy. It's you wouldn't want to play that one hole all the time, but it was fun to play it and actually just see that green site. And you can just picture it with the grandstands behind the green for the Ryder Cup or the European event or whatever. But it was one of those rounds that you didn't really want it to end. It was just you were bummed when the round was over. It was awesome. I can't speak highly enough about Valderrama. It's going to be awesome for the Solheim Cup. We talked about a little bit. You need a cart. It's going to be tough to imagine how they're going to walk from a lot of the greens to the tees, but it was fun. I love the driving range setup and the clubhouse overlooking the property. And there were some really, really good holes.
Yeah. What a property, just a humongous property. And, you know, the hotel was just, you know, 5 diamond, not 5-star. It was just, you know, just an incredible place. Just from the get-go, you know, every hole is by itself, it felt like. So you never really saw another hole while you're playing each individual hole. You know, so you could be with your group and not worry about what else is going on.
The golf course was good. The greens were really good. I mean, the greens were crazy. They were quick. I enjoyed it. I look back at it and I can remember the holes, and they were just solid golf hole after solid golf hole. I enjoyed that place a lot. Very, very good members course. And if I were taking a group over there, that would be a play for sure. They'd enjoy it. Definitely.
Yeah, a really nice way to end the trip. It was different golf than what we had played up in the hills, I'd call it. This was down more in the flats, and felt like a nice private club in Spain. It just was, you know, it was a lot of fun. It was again, big property, generous fairways, and if you were hitting the ball decently, you could score well. It was quite windy that day that we played, but you know what? Just a really fun golf course. And I thought we were laughing half the time we were out there, and which is always fun. And then, you know, at the Spike Lounge afterwards with the fireplace, and, you know, it was a pretty special spot, I thought, as well. So, you know, all in all, Spain's finest really lived up to their names, and enjoyed every golf course for different reasons as well.
Yeah, so those 5 courses that we played are considered, they're in a package called Spain's Finest Golf package. And typically what people are going to play when they're there. There are so many other golf courses in the area, but those would be the sort of 5 at the top of the list. And so we were spoiled playing those for sure. So beyond the golf, we got a chance to kind of walk around the Old Town Marbella, had some incredible meals. There's lots to do in the area. So what was your experience, your thoughts on the experience outside of the golf?
So just beautiful views, and you know, really enjoyed the bus trips, because you're driving through the countryside and seeing the stunning views and like the beautiful architecture of some of the facilities. Old Town was really cool experience to get the tour and to learn about the history of Old Town, you know, going back to Roman times, and that was a fun experience. So I think something that I wasn't expecting was you know, just the charm of Old Town, and you know, Marbella was really special place, and something that, you know, not golf specific, but you know, if you were to go to Scotland or Ireland, you're there for golf, and, you know, maybe go to a couple pubs, but this is like a cultural experience as well, and learning about history was pretty neat.
Well, I think that's where Spain will separate itself from most destinations, is the social atmosphere after golf, the food and beverage culture that the country has. You know, we couldn't have been treated any better in Spain. Wine, tapas, and then meals. It was just a phenomenal place. Old Town Marbella was a cute, historic town.
Yeah, I mean, I as good as the golf was, I would even tell you that the non-golf was even better for me. I love Europe to begin with, and it had a very a very different European feel to it. It wasn't like when I've been to Ireland or Switzerland or Paris or whatever. It was, I love the old town, and that's how you kind of picture the tight cobblestone streets with little shops and restaurants and bars and coffee shops. And it was pretty remarkable. That's one of my favorite memories when I look back, is that night that we did that tour around Old Town. I thought that was super cool.
And I was blown away with the experience in Spain. You know, I'd put it on par or even above, you know, the experiences in Italy, which is world renowned for culture and tourism and hospitality. And, you know, the food and wine was great too.
Yeah, and I love those old charming towns, and Marbella has that, right, where you're kind of walking through the cobblestone streets and these narrow little walkways, and there's little pubs and restaurants and everything as you go through. It's such a cool town to walk through, so it's a great area to visit, and people should spend some time doing that aside from the golf when they go there. So overall, how do you sort of view this area as a trip for your members? Like, what kind of group would you take, and how would you lay it out? And is it a place that you look forward to visiting with members?
You know, from a trip makeup perspective, I think you can do it a couple different ways. A couples trip would be great. You know, to play some golf, but also do some touring, and you know, the restaurant scene is fantastic. And you could also do it like a golf purist trip where you're playing Valderrama and Sota Grande and think Corzine, and you know, doing a real golfers trip with a group, and then maybe having some nightlife and having some fun. So I think something for everyone.
At first, in my mind, I'd say a couple trip, but I could also see, you know, just a normal guys or girls trip if you were to, you know, bring 8 to 12 of you and just have a lot of fun as with your friends as well. So it's the possibilities are endless. I really think.
Like when I think of this trip, yeah, a bunch of guys, you could take a bunch of guys over and have a great time and do what a bunch of guys do on their trips. And you could just as equally do a couples trip or a ladies trip and do all the cool touristy stuff. And I know there's a ton of stuff that we learned in that presentation that we didn't do, just from a timing standpoint. But unreal. Like like I said earlier, one of my favorite places I've ever been to. It was awesome, and I'd go back in a second.
Well, as you can see, everybody loved the trip over to Spain, and what an incredible destination for a golf trip. We were spoiled over there with obviously some great golf with Spain's finest golf courses, led by the incomparable Valderrama, which was an incredible day. And then obviously the hotel food and wine experience, as you can see, was kind of second to none. It's a place where you can go, and even if you don't play as much golf, you can really enjoy an incredible trip there with everything that's available off the course. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope it gave you a good indication of what to expect when going to the south of Spain, the Costa del Sol region. And we look forward to organizing trips for you down the road. Thanks, and have a great day.